So again, the fact that it's a ground cover, it's going to stay maybe 2 inches tall, but it will get to probably I'm Kim from the Tye-Dyed plant team, and today we're going to be talking about one of our more colorful plants. It's called the Fittonia, that's its scientific name, but more commonly it's known as the nerve plant. And you can see by looking at the leaves here why it would be called the nerve plant. It has very, very colorful venous or venous system that goes through the leaves, and it comes in a variety of colors. We happen to have this one that's a little bit more dark green with a lighter green vein, but they also come where they're a little bit more reddish in a different kind of Fittonia. It's really a very pretty plant, and it's known more for its leaves than it is for its flowers. You can see this one is starting to flower here. It puts out a little shoot, and then it puts out a shoot on top of that, and then tiny little flowers will come out of the side. We have several plants that are known for the leaves. This is one of them. We talked about a Rex begonia a few weeks ago and a peperonia. Those have really spectacular leaf systems, not so much on the flowers. So what I would suggest if you have one of these is when it starts to flower, just go ahead and clip that flower off. And the reason I suggest doing that is because the flower will take a little bit of the energy away from the plant. And again, it's known for its leaves. Now, if you like the uniqueness of the flower, just go ahead and leave it on. It's not going to kill the plant, but again, it just takes a little bit of the energy from what is the more noticeable parts of the plant, and that is the leaves. From a watering perspective, this one is a little bit tricky. It likes to have a moist top of the soil, about the first inch or so, but it doesn't like to be really wet down in the root area. This one could be prone to root rot. So my suggestion would be that you use the hydrometer and go ahead and make sure that you have it set it on the water system, and just go ahead and check it for moisture. If it gets into the moist area, you're doing okay. If it gets into the wet area, you're going to be over watering, and now we're susceptible to root rot. Another interesting thing, because you're liable to back off a little bit on your watering, just based on what I said, is this plant is liable to droop or wilt very quickly if it doesn't have enough water. Doesn't mean the plant is dead. It just means I'm thirsty. So if this plant were wilting down and you gave it a good drink, come back probably in 2 hours and it's going to perk right back up. So don't get concerned about the wilting if you should happen to underwater. From a light perspective, like most of our plants, it does like to have indirect light. It's not going to do well in bright light. And because it is native to the forest floors of South America, it's actually a tropical ground cover. So it can do well in lower light. If it gets too low a light, it's going to be just getting a little bit spindly, and we don't want that to happen at all. So be careful with your lighting. Now, the fact that I said it's a ground cover brings it a little bit to its size. It's probably not going to get much taller than what you see here, but it's going to spread out. Now we have a smaller one here, and you can see this one is starting in the spread mode. So again, the fact that it's a ground cover, it's going to stay maybe 2 inches tall, but it will get to probably 8 to 12 inches wide as it goes ahead and spreads. So it's kind of a neat ground cover. Keep that size in mind, whether you're putting it into a habitat or if you're putting it into a terrarium. Does pretty well in both of those areas because it likes humidity. It also likes to have the temperature somewhere between 70 and 80 degrees, so keep that in mind, especially in the wintertime. Wintertime, like for all of our plants, will affect the humidity. Your heat comes on, it gets dry in the house. While this plant will withstand misting, it's also a good idea if you really have a lot of plants and you got to get that humidity up, to put that tray of pebbles somewhere near your plants, put water on that, and as they naturally evaporate, it will give you a humid area. So we talked about the watering, we talked about the light. Well-drained soil, as usual. A little bit of perlite in your soil will be helpful. And this plant actually likes to be a little bit more on the acidic side. So keep that in mind if you're putting any kind of supplements. Fertilization is one of the plants that really doesn't need much in the way of fertilizer. If you're going to fertilize, do that in the spring and summer, maybe once every 2 to 3 months. And with most plants, don't want to give much fertilizer in the winter time because you're just trying to get through the winter season. And then once you get into spring and summer, fertilizer will help go ahead and prop that up. I did mention the fact that it likes humidity. The temperatures, again, between 70 and 80. It is a non-toxic plant, So again, if it's going to be in a habitat, it will do well in that particular environment because it's not going to have any problem with any of your animals. It's not going to have a problem certainly with your houseplants or with anything else. It really is a very nice plant. We have it in the larger size, we have it in the smaller size. And again, just known for its leaves, but if you see those flowers in there and you want to keep them on, go ahead and do that. If not, just clip them off. Our plant of the week, a tie-dyed iguana, nerve plant, or the Fittonia.